Well, it depends on who you ask. You get a different definition.
Subjective.
Aristotle has the good, right? Anybody know anything about Aristotle? He has the
I've heard
medium.
about 'em, but
He has the medium. So I'll give you an example of bravery. A coward is not good, but neither is a young hothead. Because you see, they're on the opposite extreme. A coward runs away and hides in the corner. A hothead runs into battle with no experience and no abilities, but he'll still run into battle. They both
Or
die.
no plan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where a hero is somewhere between the coward and the hothead. And that's the good. Does that make sense? So, and God's defining good, which is the Hebrew word for tov, which I've talked to you all about, is the Hebrew word tov. God defining good is, the way this word is defined here is right order. In other words, the grass in the garden is growing off the field. The grass in the path is not good. The grass on the path, or on the side of the path, is good. It's in its right place, right order, right function. So it's a functional order. In other words, the sea stops or the sea stop. When the sea comes onto land and wipes out a city, the sea is no longer good. It's chaos. That's how the ancient people saw it. So if the sea comes up to the seashore and it stops and it rolls back out with the tides, the sea is good. It's in its right function. So that's how they saw life. So it's a little different than what Aristotle's going to have, because Aristotle put a little bit more thought into it, where the Bible is not trying to give you that. It's trying to give you functionality, right? Man is good when man is in the garden. The reason man is not good is because man crashed the garden, right? We took meal with the serpent. Therefore, we're no longer in a good state. That don't mean we don't have the good, right? It just means we're no longer in a good state. The problem with Calvinism, I'll just be frank, since we're not on the camera, we're not going to get booed.
we're on.
Oh, we are? Oh, well. I'll still say it. The problem with Calvinism is that it makes everybody starting out is already in the function of the bad. So they're opposite of the good. They're already in the bad. And then Hebrew, the bad is ra. And we just stick with Hebrew. And this literally is the different to this word. How we understand this word is the way the rabbi told me is you must have to understand its counterpart. And its counterpart is the Hebrew word Zadok. Zadok. And Zadok is one who's on the path. So Ra is opposite of Zadok. Zadok is one who's on the path. Ra is one who's not on the path. So therefore, not on the path means death. And you got to think about these words of development. Now we're going to talk about development of words here. These words develop through their culture, through their nomadic culture, right? If you're going to go from the city of Ur to say Mari, that's nothing for us today. In fact, you can probably do it a couple days in a car easily if you don't get attacked by camel riders and vagabonds while you're doing it, because it's all safe travel around over there. But it'd be no different than going from here to like Atlanta, Georgia.
I think it would be hilarious to be attacked by people on camelback.
Especially when I'm in the DeLorean. Just do that.
I would just be like, you know what, you can have whatever I got because I'm on camelback.
Yeah, if you call me on a camelback. But anyway, so Ra is someone who's not on the path. Zadok is someone who's on the path.
Because if you get off the path, you're going to die.
You die, right? Because the path leads to your oasis.
Yeah.
Think about a traveler, a nomadic person with sheep. If you're righteous and you're on the path, you're making it to your landmarkers, which is the root word to mitzvah, your commandments. You're making your landmarkers to your oasis. And Yahweh, of course, would be your oasis, right? So Yahweh's your oasis because he's the one who gives you life. This all has to do with the way they solve themselves. So Ra is someone who's off the path. Tov is someone who's in right function. Right function is in worship of Yahweh. Right function is everything with Yahweh as the center of your life. That's why when you're not in right function with Yahweh, you have a God gap. You know, you'll hear people say, well, I felt like there was a gap in my heart. You know, at this point, we're so far off what we're going to teach. I'm going to finish this now. I'll finish my
Imagine that.
I'll finish my thought. Well, I mean, I wanted to record it all, but we kind of got John. So there's some of your words. So God, of course, is God is not the same thing. Yahweh, we know Yahweh's energy, but we don't know his essence. So we know God's energy. We see God's energy, but we don't experience God's essence in this case, right? Any questions on that? Let's see where we at. I got Baal, Adonai, Elohim, Yahweh. What else? We could do. Yeah, okay, we'll do. Angels, Malach just means messenger. In fact, angel, the Greek word angel just means messenger. And then, of course, angels has there's different roles in the angel role and all that. So let's continue on here. All right, back to the paper since we got back here. Any questions on any of this? On the good, the bad, and ugly? The problem is that my problem, and not to be mean, because I don't think I finished my thought on Calvinism. My problem with Calvinism is not to be mean, is like, one, after spending almost 17 years in Judaism, the thought that Calvin produces doesn't even pop up in Judaism. It never popped up in Judaism. It's all about free will, worshiping Torah on your own, doing Torah on your own, following Torah. And if you don't follow Torah, they don't think you're predestined. There's none of that predestined thought. Now that could be just because the Orthodox Judaism came out of Phariseeism, and there is an older Second Temple, almost Calvinistic-like group, but that didn't last very long. Right? So there is that. I'm not trying to make it. The problem is it makes it double negative for me. That's my problem with it. It makes it double negative. Because you can't become a reprobate mind if you're already a reprobate mind. If you're totally deprived, how are you going to be a reprobate mind? So I believe you start out with the good. Babies are innocent. They have the good in them. They have the right function in them. As St. Maximus the Confessor says, which is, or his theology was ordained by the Sixth Ecumenical Council. So it's not like I'm the only one that thinks this. This is the approved thought of the Sixth Ecumenical Council.
What's that baby's name?
Yeah, that's his baby name, Damien, for some reason. But Tov breaks down, and then the Tov here in Greek, they call it the logoi. It's the thing that makes you good. In other words, if you have a burning building, and this is how you refute, this is one way to probably refute it, because if everybody's totally deprived, if there's a burning building and there's an atheist there and he runs inside and he saves the baby, did he not do good?
Yeah.
But he's an atheist.
So,
So can an atheist do good?
absolutely.
We would say yes. So that's the logoi, that's the Tov. That's the big creation thing that's still in us. That don't mean we don't see the shiny object.